Boom, 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 boom. Bum, 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 bum. What's up, guys? Darth Vader here. Yeah, I'm not the same loser as the one from the previous module. My son and I, we good now. We Gucci. But this is module 3.0, and we talking about the 4 essential skills to entrepreneurship. So stick around, because Obi-Wan Kenobi is here. He's in the ship. I'm gonna get him right now. Right now, baby. What's up, guys? Thank you for checking out this video. There's gonna be some cool entrepreneurial tips and tricks here. This is part of a Kidpreneurship course for parents I recorded. So if you want to check out the entire course, module 1 is right over here. Or you can check out our regular actual YouTube videos, which shares tips, tricks, roadmap strategies to help you build profitable businesses. Lastly, this is a non-for-profit YouTube channel, so 100% of YouTube AdSense revenue will be donated to legal registered charities that support youth entrepreneurship. So the more we share, the more we care. Thank you so much for your support, and let's get on with the video. Peace. What's up, people? Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I know I love being a kid. It's so much fun. Yeah, so you guys ready to learn some Jedi tricks? The 4 essential, 4, 5, 3. I gotta figure it out, but I think it's 5, but I cheated. I said 3 essential skills to entrepreneurship. So if you're an entrepreneur right now, guys, you're probably saying or wondering, I wonder which skill Obi-Wan's gonna say. And the truth is, it's literally limitless. It's like, it goes on and on and on and on. You could literally list an endless amount of skills. And I've actually asked a ton of my friends to say, yo, what would you say are essential skills? And we're talking everything you could imagine. Like, Tuan, you gotta make sure they're heart-centered, you gotta make sure they're aligned, you gotta make sure they know how to be a leader, visioner, listener, they gotta learn how to build communication skills, they gotta understand people, they gotta understand conflict resolution, they gotta understand how money works, gotta know how to read a balance sheet, read an income statement, understand ROI, cash flow, gotta know digital marketing, gotta know technology, they gotta know, purpose, faith, mindset. It goes on, they gotta know how to read a book a day. Like, whoa, like, we're talking like a lot of answers from fellow entrepreneurs. And the reason they have so much is because, that's the thing about entrepreneurship. I don't know if I mentioned this in the first module or 2.1, but one thing about entrepreneurship is arguably one of the best ways you can put yourself through a personal activation journey, or most people say personal development. I don't like development. I prefer like personal expansion or personal activation. Maybe it's just a syntax thing. Who knows? But it's incredible that entrepreneurship is this, it's almost like becoming a parent. And since all y'all here for Kidpreneurship, I think being a parent is one of the most incredible experience for personal growth, personal unleashing, personal engaging, personal activation anyone can embark upon. I mean, the stuff you thought was important until you have a kid, you're like, you know what, some of that stuff, it just not as important anymore. There's other things way more important, because when you have a kid, that's what happens. And when you have a business, when you get an entrepreneurship, the same thing happens. You have this baby now, and somehow a lot of things, a lot of people are just not as important anymore. Still love them, but not as important to what you want to do, right? So I have thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to list my 3 essential skills, more because I think we all have our own sets, especially entrepreneurs, and it's because of our own experiences. Like, what have we been through, right? And so when I work with my kids and I'm trying to mentor them, guide them, learn from them, learn about them, I'm thinking from my own experience, what do I think is essential for them to like have a great life and have that perfect core skill set, mindset, whatever you want to call it, to pursue something entrepreneurial in their life. Again, doesn't have to be for profit. My first entrepreneurial endeavor, as those who saw 1.2, is that it was fundraising. I just raised as much money as I can with as little resources as possible. And that was entrepreneurial, right? And so what are those skills? So the good thing is this is only a module 3. There's no 3.1, no 3.2. So we're kind of gonna go whip through this, because the next module, module 4, is this like ultimate tool that you're gonna use to be able to accomplish and support your child in developing these skills. So I base kind of this module on my buddy Jim Shields. He is an incredible entrepreneur, and he is probably one of the best father mentors I have, and relationship mentors. He is able to develop, an approach and philosophy that has resulted in a family with incredible depth in the relationship and richness. but at the same time, he gives them this educational approach, learning approach. I think I like that, a learning approach where it's fun, and it gives these kids, his kids, the tools to be completely okay in the gang, period, for the rest of their life. So this approach that Jim created is called the Educational Matrix. Here they are. I will include this, of course, as a bonus or additional thing that you can have. Just download it somewhere. I haven't decided yet, but I'm gonna go through 2 of the 3 points. And for sure, these 2 are the somewhat core skill, which is financial intelligence. That's a core. Relationship, that's also in one of the essentials. But over here, he has personal development, which is a nice list here. They all have an amazing set of things underneath that, which Jim and I have added to all of these. And again, you'll get this. I'm not expecting to read this now, by the way. And so here we go. Let's start with financial intelligence, right? That's one, relationship skills. And in the personal development, what I've chosen here is specifically focusing on mindset, right? I felt these 3 are 3 things that I can teach my kids and guide them, right? And support them and mentor them into learning, because I believe this will minimize or increase the chance of them being, like I said earlier, totally okay. So let's start with financial intelligence. There's lots of things that go underneath that, but in my case, what I want them to know is understanding the exchange of money, where value is done, how choices are made. And with my kids, we would do things like, hey, you know, here's a Lego piece that you like, and this is like $5. And then I know just outside my room here, let's just pretend this is a Pokemon card, right? And they're both the same price. And I asked my son, well, like, what do you prefer? And over the years and all the kids, I'm able to bring things out that they like, show how they are equally valued monetary wise. And then poof, they are also learning how they're differentiating what is more valuable. And then even more is how much more are they willing to pay? Then we do the reverse. We also play these games as they get older, is that if you had something you're selling, you know, what are they going to decide between your product and someone else, right? This is to me a little bit more in terms of how money is worth and how money is valued. The other thing is, how does money grow?
Ooh, that's kind of small. Yikes.
The reason I think this is such an important skill, because it's not an entrepreneurship skill necessarily, it's a life skill. I think we've heard this before, but I have friends who work at the government, and they start with 1 property, but now one guy in particular has 19 properties. It's incredible. He doesn't have to work. Him and his wife do not have to work anymore. They choose to. They actually really love where they work. They love the team that they work with. But when I bring this up, I said, wow, you're like a real estate entrepreneur, investor, whatever you want to call it. They tell me that, or they express to me that they don't think they're entrepreneurial at all. They just know or learned how money worked. They knew that it wasn't right to buy a house, put all this money down, pay, interest component, all this stuff, and renovations and all this stuff, when they knew that they were at a point where they could build, and they knew that it was more efficient for them to use their money a certain way. They're not trying to quit their jobs, but what they're trying to do is take the salary that they have, and every single thing they do with the money from their salary is going to be more efficient, right? And so I think financial intelligence is so important, and there are ways to support your kids and even yourself feel like you suck at money and management or understanding how money works. There are lots of ways for you to access this knowledge, so that way you can learn it together even with your kids. This is the beauty about this, is these essential skills. If you feel you don't have them or you're not great at it, I even develop, and I still develop these skills alongside with my kids. And I'm developing even more complex skills with my kids too. It's a lot of fun. It just gets more and more fun as the kids get older. And like I said, when you create this journey together, again, I'm bringing back a point from 2.1 here, which is when they feel you're on this journey with them and you're overcoming and facing challenges together, it's such an incredible journey, right? So financial intelligence, number 1, bing, check. Next is relationship building. I think a lot of people would say I'm an extrovert, but I feel I'm more of an introvert. I just over the years developed extroverted skills. You know, I've been working on my own in my, remotely in my own office. I've had offices, but I've always worked in my home, and I always communicated through some kind of a screen or a lens with people more than face to face unless I'm speaking in public. But people still see me as a relationship building like master of something, and I wouldn't call myself that. But I definitely would say I worked at developing the skill of understanding and how to communicate, how to listen, how to resolve conflict, a whole bunch of stuff, right? And so relationship building skill, I think, is really, really core to being an entrepreneur. As your business grows, or as whether it be operational or sales and customers or whatever it be, I do feel the ability to understand relationships will increase your ability to serve properly and create value for your customers, and therefore grow your business, right? The last is what I call the mindset trifecta. And it's under the umbrella of personal development. That's what most people call it. I like to call it personal activation, but I'm just being egotistical here by coming up with my own name, I think. But I guess I have my approach to it, so forget about that. But it's the mindset trifecta. And when I think about mindset, the mindset is shaped by your belief system. And let's go back to what we shared earlier by Ryan Walter, which is, again, experience leads to stories, and stories form, and then they create these belief systems, which becomes your mindset. And with this mindset, it drives all these actions. The consistent actions creates the habits, and the habits creates the results, right? And so I believe that if you can shift the mind, that's why mindset, trifecta, how you see things, the lens that you see things in your life, what are the 3 areas that you need to shift and see differently, so that way when entrepreneurship becomes part of your life, you're gonna survive, right? And the first thing is, how can you shift your mindset and your lens around failure, right? When people come home and they fail at something, they feel like a failure. And remember the whole, we have 60,000 thoughts a day, 95% goes on and repeats itself the following day. 80% of those thoughts are negative, because every day we fail at something. Every day. But when you're an entrepreneur, it's very different. You embrace failure with a different story, because when you get into entrepreneurship, you are pushing things to the limit so that you can see where you can grow. You can see how far you can go. You can see how much return you can get on your investment. You can see how many sales you can get, how many people you can reach, how many lives you can change, right? When you're trying to get as much as you can with a certain amount of resources, it means you're gonna fail. And in our family, we embrace failure very differently. We would say, hey, what's your favorite lesson today? Okay, cool. What's another word for lesson? Failures, great. What do we do with lessons and failures? We learn from them, and then we make a clear decision on what to do moving forward, right? And then we try to drive accountability on those decisions too. That's like next level talking here, but that's with my older kids. We talk about that in sort of the next section, and also in module 8, where I kind of give you a bit more examples of what I do with my kids, the type of conversations we have, things like that, right? And so that's all I believe. The shifting your conversation on failure is really important. The next one is shifting your mindset and your lens on confidence, self-confidence. And this has everything to do with the story belief systems we have within ourselves, right? And earlier, module 2.2, I think I talked about believing your kids 100%. Well, this is the exact same thing. So I do believe it is core, and as a parent and as a child and together undergo the same journey to say, how do we figure out self-confidence? What is preventing us from being fully self-confident? And by the way, I kind of say there's always 2 types of self-confidence. The kind where you're like, I know what I'm talking about. I'm an expert guru in this space. So I'm gonna stand up and talk about kidpreneurship like I'm an expert, right? But then the other self-confidence, which is the one that's even more powerful, the real self-confidence, like for real self-confidence, like the Jedi Master self-confidence. Is the one where you're gonna make a choice and you know that you could possibly fail, and yet you're gonna be okay, right? You know you're gonna rise back up after failure. In fact, failure isn't even a falling down. A failure is like this trampoline that's gonna help you catapult to a higher level, right? And so this is a lens that needs to be created in terms of embracing failure. And the next one is self-confidence, right? So what's the last one? Last one is rejection. Right? And I think about my life as an entrepreneur, even as a kid growing up. And the reason I would say I really focused on relationship building was I grew up feeling pretty rejected, and it was could be feeling like I've been hit with racist jokes and feeling hit by being the only Asian guy in a group of all these other crazy cool people that I just want to be with, and it hurt. And so whenever I got rejected in the business world back in the day, even as a student, even in business school and chem, all that kind of stuff, anything I pursued, the moment I got rejected, it hit me hard. Until the day I said, holy cow, I gotta really think about this, right? And so luckily with my kids, I'm so aware of this, and I really want to support them to reframe what rejection, how to handle the rejections better. And so again, there are ways to support yourself and your kids in addressing this together if it's something you also have a challenge with. It's the beauty of it. When I bring up these essential skills, it's not meant for you to say, oh no, I don't know. It's actually an opportunity. So I'm hoping I could help you this minute reframe what it is to face and learn something with your kids, even though maybe you feel you don't know, even though as a parent you've never went to business, even though maybe you've had a failed business entrepreneurial endeavor. This is the whole point. This is where this moment has brought you to, this very moment, to embark on this 4 essential skills Jedi training together.
Oh my God! Wow!
Very cool. So to that, I would like you to leave with some Jedi training advice, which is take a moment, really think about these 3 areas: financial intelligence, relationship building skills, and the mindset trifecta: embracing failure, building self-confidence, and reframing and accepting rejection way better. Of these ones, think about some of the maybe more recent events where you felt yourself or you felt your kids feeling one of these, experiencing one of this, or think about something that maybe you're really good at and try to relate it to something that they're working on right now. As I said earlier, we talked about Lego, we talked about Pokemon cards. As the kids got older, we talked a lot about things like, Peonies upstairs loves volleyball, so we're looking at different shoes, and we're talking a lot about how, when I was young and I couldn't afford any shoe, I just got whatever shoe I can get, and we talked about how the mindset around the shoe we have, what does it really mean? Like, what are we thinking about the shoe that's giving us power? And what could we be thinking about shoes that's taking power away from us, right? This is a conversation we have because it leads to this expectation. The expectation leads to, if I don't meet it, I'm gonna feel like a failure. There's an entire, almost like domino effect of one point all the way to the point, and it leads to fear of failure, right? So again, this is a conversation I probably should have went a little bit greater depth for you to see and understand what I'm kind of talking to my kids. So I'm kind of losing here probably. I'm even losing myself, for goodness sake. But that's okay. I'm okay about it because I'm gonna rise above it right now. So to end off, Jedi training is, please take some time, think about an area, and then in the next module, which is the ultimate almost like tool I'm gonna share with you, it's gonna help you and guide you in terms of how do we dive deeper and how do we actually, pursue and engage into a journey where we're gonna grow in these areas. All right, much love. May the force be flipping with you. Peace.